For more, I'm joined by Alice Stewart in Washington. She's a CNN political commentator and Republican strategist. Really good to see you. We've had a lot of news out of this Biden transition finally, and we kind of see where he's going with his administration. What was so interesting is what he said about his cabinet picks so far. Take a listen.
This is not a third Obama term because we face a totally different world than we faced in the Obama-Biden administration. President Trump has changed the landscape. It's become America first, which meant America alone. We find ourselves in a position where our alliances are being frayed.
Alice, do you buy that? The fact that he's saying that despite the familiar faces, that no, he is going to forge a different path ahead?
I do, and that we might see familiar faces and similar faces, but we're in very different times. I do push back a little bit on his notion of the President Trump's philosophy that America first was America alone. And it was critical, and Secretary Pompeo has done a good job of explaining that when America is strong and America is prosperous and America is vital and America is secure, we're a force for good and we're able to be better for the rest of the international community. The good thing that I am encouraged with the new Biden team is that they are people with experience. They also have very good ties to the international community. And one of the things that I hear when I'm speaking with folks in the international world is they want more of a stronger focus with regard to climate change and global warming. And having John Kerry there as a climate czar, I think will go a long way to satisfying some of the concerns that our allies and people across the world have. So that is a good first step to address an issue that really hasn't been quite such a focus on a national security team here in the States.
You know, Senator Marco Rubio on Twitter saying, yeah, okay, this is going to all go over well. They're polite. They have the right degrees. But he was very clear in pushing back and saying, look, we need more than this right now. What do you think of his comments?
There's certainly going to be criticism. I think it's important to note the successes that the Trump administration had with regard to foreign policy. Certainly recently with the Abraham Accords and bringing about some stability in the Middle East and the focus that we had on communist China and the threat they had to American jobs and around the world, and also working to de-escalate the situation that we have in North Korea. So there are some successes, and there's going to be people in the current administration and Republicans that are concerned about some of the focus that the ground that the current administration has made, whether or not it will be lost. And I think it's important to give them time, to get them situated, get them in place, and get to work.
In terms of the cabinet picks coming forward, I mean, Joe Biden was very clear he's still thinking of putting one or two Republicans in there, and yet then you have Senator Bernie Sanders pushing back on that. How important do you think it will be for a President Biden to have at least one Republican in cabinet?
I think it's important for a couple of reasons. He campaigned on unity. He campaigned on bringing this country together, for, not just in terms of what we're seeing domestically, but certainly internationally. He has done a good job of having diversity on his team that he's brought on board with regard to gender and race and backgrounds, but it's also important to have diversity of ideology, and some of that can also be seen in his own party. Obviously, the progressives, those further on the left in the Democratic Party, would like to have a voice. The moderates obviously will have their place. It would be extremely helpful if he did have some Republican voices in the room, at the table, and certainly part of his administration.
Yeah, and obviously given the fact that of the 75 million people thereabouts that voted for Donald Trump, the vast majority of those people do not believe that Biden was even elected legitimately. A lot of work to get done there. Alice, thanks so much. A happy end to the week and Thanksgiving if I don't see you. It was really good to talk to you.
Thank you. You too, Paula.